This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by SACL CAI. They collect with respect.
Moving stuff from one side to the other. We go on with the second section of what I wanted to read off. Just give me a second. And it shows that this again is a nearly exact same words, only on Wolf's it is split up into two small statements, while Riley's is a paragraph, but still presents the wording in the exact same order. And Wolf, which is Riley's. Number 2 goes, Riley never saw a physical hit list or plan and believed that the list and plan existed only in Brown's head. Edward Brown named the following targets as being on the hit list: Gillians, Plainfield PD, Judge McDuff, Wonier, and DiMartino, USMS, O'Sullivan, Sullivan COSO, which is Sheriff's Office. On Wolf never saw a physical hit list or plan and believed that the list and plan existed only in Brown's head. The following individuals were frequently cited as hit list targets: Gillens, Chief, Plainfield PD, Judge McAuliffe, Wonier, and DiMartino, USMS, O'Sullivan, Sullivan County Sheriff's Office. Okay, the same stuff, they're just splitting it. Okay. On the third part of it, that point I wanted to make, on the second page, both the section name is changed, but the topic is exactly the same, even though the section title was changed to give the appearance of it being the different reports. On Danny's, it starts off with weapons and explosives, and it reads straight into, Riley was asked to describe in detail Brown's property to weapons, fortifications, and possible dangers to law enforcement and others. Riley related the following. Okay. On Wolf, it says property, and then it goes right into the exact same wording. Wolf was asked to describe and detail Brown's property as to weapons, fortifications, and possible dangers to law enforcement.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay. Wolf related the following. Okay. That's how the third section goes. Now, on the fourth one, I wanted to make are Riley's proper statements, and when I get cut off, I'll just probably start this over. In fact, that's probably not a point.
Okay, so Reno, in a nutshell, could you tell me what it is exactly that you're upset about with the process that you're describing?
Well, that's exactly what I was going to get to. On this last example that I was going to get to. Basically, what I'm trying to get to is that it's all the reports, like I was saying, they're being used, and they're using Wilson and these reports against me, saying, oh, look, they're exactly the same, therefore they're true. But if you look at the reports and how they're written, they're exactly the same. There's, like I was going to go into, on this next one, it kind of shows exactly what I was talking about, where it's like, if I were to go back into it again, it'd be like, the reason why this is important is one of the it leads to more important issues, like Riley's 12 pages to Wolf's 7 pages. Riley's is more, chock full of detail. Wolf's, on the other hand, it lacks a lot of details that are going against me. And when they do, show to coincide with Mr. Riley's details, they're exactly the same statements, almost perfectly word for word. And the level of detail given by Riley and Wolf's, can be shown. Again, on the next example I was going to show, where they copied and pasted it, but with the incompetence that they used it with, you can almost always tell that they just grabbed one from the other and just superimposed it on Wolf's statements.
So you're saying that they're misquoting. So you're saying that they're attributing one statement to a different person?
Well, I'm sure that Wolf may have made a comment. Imagine they wouldn't just blatantly put a statement out of Riley's and put it in Wolf's. But what they put in Wolf's is almost always exactly. So the same as Riley did. Okay? And then the reason that that's important, Riley always has more important, Wolf always is like in detail, is that Wolf had done way more proffers, he did way more testimony. Well, he did testimonies, period. Riley didn't do any testimonies at the trials. And it's important to note that the U.S. Marshals themselves, on the report, confronted Wolf about the fact that the numerous inconsistencies of all his statements, all his proffers, testimonies, Wolf would just and unfortunately, without just getting paperwork out there, which they don't do well, I just have to read it. And
Okay.
You guys can. This is Riley. An unknown individual gave Edward Brown 50, but parentheses, they wrote 15, 50 caliber incendiary rounds. Riley described the rounds as being 5.5 inch long and 3 inch silver tip. Riley stated, an unknown individual gave these rounds to Edward Brown during the July 2000 concert. Riley described the individual as a white male, approximately 5'8", 5'9", and looked to be 45 to 50 years old. This individual was driving a red motorhome with Montana license plates. The same that was basically taken off with Wolf's report basically reads exactly like this. An unknown individual gave Ed Brown with approximately 50 caliber incendiary rounds during July, and that the individual as driving a red motorhome with Montana license plates. It doesn't even make sense, because they cut, pasted, to make it look distinct. It doesn't even go into each other's, it goes into each other's, details. But again, Wolf is always very limited in details. Riley is always full detailed. But the same words are always used exactly for...
Okay, so Reno, in a nutshell, what's the point you're trying to make?
The point is that these two reports are being used against me, and wording exactly the same. One, I need to dig out how they're being...
The wording is exactly the same, you say?
Yes, they're exactly the same, except with the Wolf, they take details out and make it, they change it up, one paragraph for Riley's will be broken down into 2 sentences for Wolf.
Okay, now another question I have: what is your response to the heavy sentence that Jason Gerhardt received, 20 years? Do you think that's proportionate?
I think everyone would agree that that's not even close to what was responsible, even for the judge, for doing that. The fact is, he went out there and said that this was a kangaroo report, and then the judge basically said, "I'll show you what a kangaroo report can do," or something along.
Right, because the prosecution was only asking for 6 years, right?
I'm unaware. They really keep us locked out with information about each other. They don't want anybody to know what's going on with anybody else.
Yeah. Can you tell me again? I screwed up the recording there. How are you being treated right now?
I'm being treated very kindly.
By who?
Just like by inmates, by the COs, by the convicts. By the administration that I've had to deal with so far. Everyone has always treated me real kind. I don't give them any reasons to be upset with me. I don't give them any reasons to look bad at me. When they ask me questions, I'm usually straight up honest with what I'm trying to do.
Dispatches like this one would not be possible without the generous support of companies like SACL CAI. SACL CAI is a collections company that does collections a whole new way. They know that not only do you want your money back, you want to keep your customers. SACL CAI. They collect with respect.